Hello, everyone. Trying to see if you can see me. Can they see me, Shahara?
Yes, they can. Yep.
Okay. All right. So we have how many participants? We had actually a total of, let me change my view for a second. Everybody is connecting with me on text messages. I appreciate my community and how you all are rallying behind me and trying to get in. Something went awry with Zoom. I will take full responsibility that that was operator error. And somehow I did not get it correct. And I have to go back now and figure out what happened. I know that originally I wanted to do the webinar on July 22nd. Because of the way the marketing campaign works in the John Maxwell team marketing system, I have to have 15 days. So I had to push it back to the 27th of July. And if I said June just a moment ago, I meant July. So somehow, and I deleted the July 22nd out of the system. And I thought everywhere, including in Zoom, but some of you received a July 22nd text or email from me, and then you also were getting the right information, but for some reason it got crossed this morning. And so now here we are. There were supposed to be 56 people that were attending the webinar, and so folks are slowly coming in right now because between the text and the emails, they're making sense of what's happening. So I sincerely apologize for what happened. I take ownership for what happened, and please do not hold this against me. So this is probably the whole thing about self-sabotage, right? Breaking up with self-sabotage. I have broken up with self-sabotage. So as a leader, I own what happened. I did my best. I will go back to the drawing board, mitigate this, and figure out how to run it in a seamless manner moving forward. So I just really appreciate you being here and being available. And I know you are interacting with Shahara in the chat, but I just want to let you know what's going on. And I'm grateful. You all have not given up on me, and I'm not giving up on myself. And there's 22 of you still on the line. You've been trying to get in, and you are here. So I appreciate you. Shahara, what are you seeing in the chat?
So I'm seeing a lot of love and a lot of grace in the chat. Um, you have people saying, thank you already. People are saying no worries, that they're glad to be here. They're not holding it against you. So there's a lot of grace. They appreciate you. They made it, and they're excited to be here.
Okay, so that means they want me to work.
Yeah. And everyone
That's
can
what
hear
that.
you. The audio's working, so everything's good.
Okay, let me come off the apology tour, and I am going to give you a truncated version of this webinar, since I have many of you on here, and I don't want you to get cheated totally. So the name, as you see, where it's all about breaking up with self-sabotage. And don't y'all know that I am an exhibit A right now for this particular webinar? Okay, we're going to breathe and keep it moving. This is a little information about the company. One of the things that I've as the Lee Johnson Group has been in business for 2 decades, we are now shifting our main focus, and we want to spend more time actually working with individuals and teams. And so I will be launching, and I am launching, one-to-one coaching and the webinar series. And I promise we're going to get it right. And August is going to be better than what just happened. So I will look into the mitigation of that.
Hey, Allison, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Is it possible that you can put this on presentation mode where we just see the slides? We can see.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing my attention to that. Let me get in here. Let's go back to here. And let's get here. Did we make it, Shahara?
Yes, we're all set.
Okay, great. Just know that any information that I put out today is not meant to be mainstream healthcare. This is a categorical, general educational presentation. And so if you find that you want to explore some of these topics in a deeper way, please contact your doctor or a mental health person that can be of assistance. So welcome to the webinar. What we are doing, we're going to focus on what, the why, as well as how to fight back with healthy habits. I'm going to bypass this, and we're going to start right with what. And what is self-sabotaging behavior is what we want to focus on. When we talk about self-sabotaging behavior, it is said to be self-sabotaging when it creates problems and interferes with long-standing goals. So procrastination would be one, self-medication like drugs and alcohols, and it can also be legal medication as well that is being abused. Interpersonal conflict, right? Not being able to get along with others. That is, in fact, a challenge. Awareness of self-sabotaging behavior doesn't mean that we will disengage in it. And so right now, just with everything and how this has gone, some of you have invited people, and then bam, you know, we've had this major technical difficulty, and yet I'm not condemning myself, and I'm not criticizing myself, and I'm not complaining against myself. I know that all I can do is go up, y'all, from here. So give us another chance is my request. I'm not going to get down on myself. All right. Are you self-sabotaging? So here's some ways in which you can figure out if you can or maybe participating in self-sabotaging behaviors. Number one, you tend to focus on what's not working as opposed to what is. Number two, you tend to fear the future, worry. You worry a lot about what ifs and what might happen down the road. You feel like you have little value and find it challenging to recall accomplishments. You criticize yourself often, and it's hard to accept compliments. You know, sometimes when people say, hey, you did that really well or whatever, and you just downplay it or you diminish it. It's like, oh, that's nothing. They like your dress, or they like something you have on, a suit or whatever. I know I have some men on the call as well. And you just, this is nothing. This was in my closet a long time. All of that, you just diminish what it is that you do. You compare yourself to others consistently, then feel bad for not measuring up. So what does that look like? I say a lot of things go on the sabotage editing floor because we look at someone else and how they do things and we say, oh, I could never do that. You chase away relationships. And this is done by finding flaws and faults in other people. And because you don't want them to get close to you is what's happening. And then you feel you have little purpose or worth. Some folks are still looking for their purpose. Guess what? I can guarantee you that your purpose is right in front of you. It's what you do with ease, and you don't need anyone else telling you. People compliment you on what you do well, but you diminish what they tell you about how you do that well. So with that said, and a lot of times we don't see our worth and how we can give back to our community and to those who are looking up to us, because somebody is looking up to you. All right, symptoms and habits of self-destruction. There are a lot of those. The umbrella, under the umbrella of self-sabotage is self-destruction. Self-destructive symptoms can arise all the time and are signs that we are trying to self-sabotage. Examples of self-destructive behavior can relate to any of the following. And if you find that you can relate to some of these, type a 1 if you can relate to something you're hearing, or a 0 in the chat. And I'm going to go through these very quickly, and you're not getting shortcut because I was going to do that this way anyway when I had a total 60 minutes. So failing to take action is an example. Having a negative, pessimistic, or self-defeating mindset. For example, I'm going to fail. I just know it. That's my self-sabotage wanted me to feel that way. But I didn't feel that way this morning when I first started, and I still don't feel that way. I am not a victim. I am an overcomer, and I thank the 18 of you that are still on the line, that are hanging with me, and that you got in. I believe that a lot of other people weren't able to get in, and I know some of you are going to just have to jump off. And I'm gonna stop at top of the hour and do my best to get through as much of this as I possibly can. Overeating, undereating, forced incompetence, portraying yourself as unintelligent or incapable. Women have a tendency to do this more. Like you'll start your sentence with, I don't know whether or not this counts, but that type of thing. Or I could be off, but there's always this but and a preamblum before you make an excellent point. So you more or less discount your voice before you even get started. A lot of times with men, the way it plays out is you become silent around other men because you just kind of like want to fit in and blend in, and you don't want to be sort of put down, if you will. Bullying. If you're always wanting to play one-upsmanship or something like that with others so that you look like you're the biggest and the baddest knife in the drawer, okay, that's self-destructive behaviors. Here's another list, and here you can put a 2 or a 0. How did we, before I move on, Shahara, how did we do on that one?
Yeah, so we got a lot of 1s in the chat. People can definitely identify with some of those self-destructive behaviors.
Okay, and I dare say we probably have a few 0s as well. I
actually didn't see any 0s.
So everybody's in the right, we're all in the right
yes.
Webinar.
Right.
And so that's great. Thank you. All right, let's go through the rest of the list here. Self-pity, drug and alcohol abuse, deliberately alienating yourself from others. So a lot of times we just don't want to get close to people because we've been hurt. Refusing help. Somebody offers to do something for you and it's like, no, I got it. Because you have to be strong. Let me say something. Superman and Superwoman really are fictional characters. I didn't dare try to do this workshop without someone helping me. And Shahara has come to the rescue, and I'm so glad she's here with me. Spending too much. You broke, you're broke, you don't have money, and credit bills are stacking up, especially with the cost of gas. But yet you find yourself down at the mall trying and wearing your status, so to speak, buying expensive purses and shoes and yada yada yada, spending too much. That's self-destructive behavior. And then physical neglect, getting poor sleep. I am guilty of that one. Refusing to exercise, eating unhealthy foods, and certainly hygiene, and then mental neglect. Let me say something about this. If you need, if you think that there's some things and or issues in your past that you need to explore, you need a counselor. All right. And so don't neglect going to a counselor if you need a counselor. Counselors help you look back and figure out what happened in the past to move you forward. If you find that you are in a particular place and you have some goals that you want to achieve, then you need a coach. And that's where I come in with one-to-one coaching. You want a coach that's going to help you to get from here to there. This webinar has been 6 months in the process. There were lots of things I had to do. I had to get the website up. I had to get on LinkedIn. I had to get YouTube channel, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of process that had to go in. And when we practiced and everything went well in practice and we had the right links and everything. And then today, Shazam, okay? I can't do anything about it. All I can do is move forward, and coaches help you move forward. So if you are in a particular area and you want to move forward, then consider having a discussion with me to see if we would have a good working relationship and you would like to hire me. Right now, let me just say that my prices for coaching are really, really low. You probably really, really low. So anyway, and I'll give you some information about that later. So that's the what. We do self-sabotaging. We have self-sabotaging thoughts, that's 7. And then we have self-destructive behaviors that play into it. So let's discuss the why, and why we do this. The big picture is because we feel a lack of self-worth. And this is the most all-encompassing self-sabotaging behavior. So let's look at what's going on with self-worth, and that's this dynamic called cognitive dissonance. And I always like to shortcut it and say thinking pain. So let's see how this works. It refers to the tendency we have to seek consistency among our beliefs and opinions. So we want our belief, what we believe to be so, and our opinion to be correct and consistent. Every time something doesn't make sense, we feel discomfort, and our brains compensate by creating a new reality that eliminates the dissonance. So here's an example. There's somebody in your office that you really don't particularly care for. In fact, you don't like that person. And you come to that conclusion all on your own, in your brain, in your mind. Person hasn't done anything to you, but you just know. They remind you of somebody. Normally, that's what's going on. And so the person says, hey, I'm going down to get a cup of coffee from the Starbucks or from the cafeteria. Can I get you a cup of coffee? My treat. Now, you have 1 or 2 things that you can do based on what you already think about this person. You can say, well, maybe that person is cool. Maybe they're okay, and I'm giving them a bad rap. Or you can say, nah, no, thank you. Don't need it. because your mind is saying, I don't know what they're going to put in that coffee. I sure don't trust them. Not today, right? That type of thing. Because so those are the two options that you have. And cognitive dissonance, what your brain wants to do, our brains don't like that thinking pain. So they don't, your cognitive dissonance is about processing new information that makes our brains work harder and throws a wrench in the inner workings of everything. So with the cup of coffee situation, I would rather be comfortable in my dislike for the person than to change. And now I have to work to get to know them and to give them a chance. Okay. So we come to a conclusion around cognitive dissonance. We come to a conclusion, and then what are we doing? We make a judgment that may not be factually correct. The person that I don't like, I don't really have a reason. They just remind me of somebody else. I know y'all never did that. The brain is happy when you fall back into previous patterns, and the brain doesn't have to work really hard. Okay. And so old ideas and prejudices keep us in control. See, if I don't have to think about you, I cut myself off, but I feel in control. My brain could say, okay, we're not going to do the webinar anymore. You just forget it. You couldn't, there's something went wrong. No, we're going to keep moving. I can tell you right now, this time next year, I won't be making this mistake. I know it. All right. But again, there's some thinking pain, and I've got to work harder and figure things out. All right. So the imposter syndrome, this is what I want to deal with next in August, the next webinar. And it's the higher up you rise, the further you have to fall. And so what happens is there's a fear of ultimately failing. So there is a perception that you're not deserving. So your brain goes on automatic and says, you don't deserve this. If they only knew that you were a fraud, you don't know what you're doing. And so all of that negative self-talk is going on. So you begin to do the bare minimum. Procrastination becomes the watchword for you, and diverting your attention, okay, from what you should be doing or what you want to do to demonstrate the skills, knowledge, and abilities that got you to where you are. You begin to, I say, like, rearrange the chairs on the Titanic, right? You shuffle papers on your desk, but you're not really producing like you could be. Somebody else has seen something in you, but you can't see it in yourself. You need a coach. Coaching will help you with that. Okay. All right. Next, we find comfort in pain, or we're bored with the way things are going. So we're creatures of habits, but sometimes this means that we choose consistency over our own happiness or contentment. So it's what my mother would say, it's the devil that you know. So you got a boss that is abusive, or friends that they don't really like you. You don't really like them, but you hang out with them because you're just used to it. You're just used to it. Relatives that if I talk to this particular relative, this is going to be, and yet you still engage them because of the fact that it's almost like you get used to it. So you put yourself in painful situations over and over again. You create drama or inciting the situation. Why? Because it actually kind of gives you a rush, because you get bored with everything just being status quo. And there should be some type of forward movement, but it's not happening for you. And doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome, I believe somebody said, that's not very smart. That's my version of it. Okay, So how do we fight back? The way we fight back is we want to be able to recognize the patterns that we fall into. So let's say I go to the local barista and I am talking to someone, and we're sort of flirting and we enjoy each other's company over me getting my coffee, and I everything is going nice, and then all of a sudden the person wants to take it up a level and they say, well, would you like to go on a date with me? Right then and there, my brain freezes. It's in cognitive dissonance, because while I like the flirting, I remember that the last person that I was in relationship with lied to me, or they cheated on me, or whatever it was. And so now my brain freezes. I get my coffee and I walk out of that coffee shop, and I never go back. So what just happened? Let's see. I was triggered. New information came in. It's just like the person in my office that wants to get me a cup of coffee. The brain doesn't know how to comprehend it. There's that cognitive dissonance, or what I say is thinking pain. This is not to be trusted. And since the last person lied to me, I'm not taking a chance anymore on relationships. And so the brain fights to bring things back to familiarity. I'm okay with sort of like the little flirt, but I don't want to take it further, because why? I could fail. I could fail, and I don't want failure. So I detach from the situation, because moving forward means that ultimate failure. All right. I need to one of the best things to do is to get intimate with your fear. What is going on? Well, there's false evidence appearing real is what's happening. So one of the things you can journal, and you can ask yourself in a situation, what am I scared of? What am I scared of? Why is it scary to me? What's going on? Why is it scary? This webinar was really amazing, because getting to the webinar, my brain wanted to say to me, well, you're going to have this webinar and nobody's going to come. 56 of you signed up, and 17 of the people that signed up, I don't know. So right there, that either means that you invited someone, or it also means that the flyers that I put up, or the palm cards, met with some success, right? So I need to say, why was it scary? Because my brain said, what if nobody comes? So you have to ask yourself, what if that worst case scenario happened? Could I handle it? And the answer is yes. The guy who I trained with about doing the webinars and the marketing system, what happened, he said his very first webinar, only one person showed up, and it was his mother. Well, guess what? Even after all of that technical work, there's 21 of us on the line together. So, and the chat seems like it is blowing up. I see all the chat, I see the chat number. So that tells me that Shahara's working with you and making sure things are coming across, and you guys are talking back to her. And so it's exciting to see that. And the key to it is, does the fear outweigh my desires? So even though we had this big glitch, the fear of not being able to help groups and teams and individuals to achieve their goals is more important to me, because I know if I sow into you, if I help you discover what's in you, okay, you are going to have impact on others. And when you sow into people, you really sow into the next generation. So I'm all in. And so whatever fear that I have, it is not going to outweigh my desire. All right. Facing and embracing is key. Confronting our fears means facing discomfort, and sometimes the truth that we uncover can be an ugly one, but we want to be able to see it. The patterns that I just talked about and the fear, that is how you fight back. Now let's look at very quickly, I'll go through these 10 healthy habits, David Letterman style. They're not in order. And if you don't know David Letterman, that means just ask your mom or your dad or uncle or auntie. All right. The first thing is to recommit to new healthy goals every single day. So setting goals and crossing them off are powerful. I know we get so excited about our electronic devices and we put it in on the electronic device. No, get you a piece of paper and a pen, and the beauty of crossing things out, it expresses to you achievement. So go back to the old-fashioned way. That's my suggestion on that. Plan, write things down, cross things off. Stop assuming things, okay? You'll assume that people don't like you because you feel that they feel this about you. And it's not that the person, you're assuming that somebody doesn't like you when it's really you don't like something about yourself. So this is the assumption pattern that you get into. Critical assumption. There's a false judgment. Well, this person doesn't like me, so I assume the negative. Let's go back to the coffee example, right? They don't like me, and I have negative thoughts and feelings. They might spit in that coffee. Ew. And so I'm triggered, and I self-sabotage. My self-sabotaging behavior stops me from getting to know people. There are people that have been put in your life that are there to help you. But if you find yourself constantly in this pattern and you don't want to get close to people and you don't want to connect with folks and you're still on an island by yourself, there's something going on that's sabotaging your ability to connect and to get to know people. Some of my mentors are on the line. I believe I knew that they were coming. And if I didn't have these mentors, I wouldn't be where I am today. So bottom line is stop. This next one is do less better. This is my favorite. Say no. No is really a full sentence. Delegate. What will things matter a year from now? So you got a parking ticket, you're all upset, but what is it going to mean a year from now? Do things you enjoy. Take yourself and do a facial or get a pedicure or go to the game, go out golfing. In the chat, write one thing that you enjoy that you would like to start doing. So do less. That means stop jamming your calendar up with nonsense that's not going to mean anything. It doesn't bring you any joy. And do things that you really like. So I know that there's things in the chat. Shahara, give me a couple real quick. What are we hearing?
Yeah, so Leslie actually just dropped an awesome one in the chat that I definitely want to do. Take more time to walk. Go on a peaceful walk. I see do a monthly massage, get monthly massages, acupuncture. Oh, I see horseback riding.
Invest in yourself.
I love, yeah, invest in yourself, fishing.
Okay, I'm gonna get the chat. I'm gonna get the chat. I got 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
All right. Thanks, Shahara. And thanks, everybody. Keep it going. I'll be able to read it. Get an accountability partner. All right. Don't, one of my mentors taught me long ago, and Les Brown says this, OPP, only positive people. You have negative people in your life, they need to get them out your life. Okay, you need people that are gonna, you can be accountable to. When you don't feel like going out and doing that walk or whatever, you can encourage one another. Life will bring you enough pain all by itself. Create joy for yourself. Cook for yourself. Bring yourself flowers. Buy yourself tickets to a concert or to something that you really like to do. Do a do-it-yourself project. These are some of the things you can do. You only, my husband always says this, you only get to do this life once. Okay? So what makes you sing? Get rid of what's holding you back. All right? That is key. And then here's the key. Don't just exist. Live, live, live. Praise yourself. Pat your own self on the back. Okay. Don't wait for others to do it for you. Keep a book. One of my friends who was a counselor, she taught me to keep a book of accomplishments and thank you notes and things like that. So when you're having a bad day, you have proof to your mind that guess what? I've achieved and I will achieve again. All right, listen to your body, take care of your body. If you need to go to a doctor, go to a doctor. If you're feeling bumps and lumps, go to the doctor. Get yourself a trainer, hold yourself accountable. That is extremely important. And if you are on somebody else's schedule to do exercise, guess what? You'll show up and you will get accomplishments. I have been with my trainer for several years. And if you want to know who my trainer is ABC Fitness. Give me a call, text me or something. I'll get you in touch with a really, really good trainer. All right, focus on the positives. This is so important. So a good way to do this is to take and do a T diagram. I'm going to give you an activity. Do a T diagram and write down all of those negative things that go through your mind. You can't do this. You're not able. You didn't go to school for this. All of this stuff. Put it down on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, put an example, turn that negative into a positive. Then what I want you to do is to get a rubber band, put it around your wrist, and every time you hear that negative stuff going through your mind, you can't do this, do a pop and say, oh, yes, I can, because I know who I belong to. Oh, yeah, but they're going to see that you're a fraud. No, I'm not, because I have a good mind and I can research things. You see how that works. Use affirmation books. Read an affirmation book. Get a good one and just go through some affirmations. You can also, I like quote books, and here's a great one by Zig Ziglar. And I'm just going to open up on one page. I don't know where we're going to go. It says, well done is better than well said. I need to hear that. Well done is better than well said. So a lot of times we could say things, but what are you doing for others? And then I like this last activity. I am strong. I am courageous. I call it the I am exercise. So the way it works is I am and then fill in the blank. So here's an example. And I want you to at least be able to get 10 for yourself. I am strong. I am courageous. I have spunk. I have grit. I don't give up. Okay, I am not a quitter. And just get you 10, you can do 20, you can do 50, go wild, okay? But get those I am statements to begin to retrain the mind. It's positive, saying focus on the positives is easier said than done. That's why this little activity, you might have to wear it 3 or 4 days, but you'll catch yourself and then your mind will start automatically putting in the positive, okay? So keep that in mind. And we are just about done. This is where you get and you talk to yourself. Mirror, you get in front of a mirror and you talk to yourself the way you would defend your family, friend, your spouse, your brother or your sister, right? Because we fight for family. Okay. And so you talk to yourself. It's like the self-sabotaging thoughts are going to come. They want you to go into destructive behavior, but you have to get in the mirror and say, not today. we are going to continue, we are going to move, and we are going to be successful, because guess what? You are successful. And that's important. You are not here on a fluke. There was a design, and you are a designer's original. Nobody can do what you do like you. Get that book out of you. Go back to school. Apply for that job. Apply for that promotion. Walk away from some things that you know are destructive and got you, and they have you stuck, and start going forward. I would not be where I am right now if it wasn't for my coach that worked with me for 6 months. And the whole idea is this, not that he told me, you don't need anybody to tell you. You need someone to help you to discover what's in you, because you already have the answers. You just need to declare those things and start moving forward. So this is the resource page. We'll make sure you get those and that information. The next save the date is going to be Wednesday, August 24th. I know that you all are brave. You're still here with me. So please, we'll get that information out to you. So what are the next steps? And I'll get you this sheet here. Go to the website, www.leejohnsongroup. Sign up for the free life calling assessment. You can download that and take that. If you know someone who, or you are interested in one-to-one coaching, you can actually pay for that right on the website. And like I said, the price is ridiculously low. I will be doing a mastermind group. I will have only 8 people can be in mastermind groups. And so reach out to me through the website, or most of you have my information, or get my information from whoever you who invited you, if you were invited, and just let's have a conversation. And we want to get you into those mastermind groups. Those 8 slots are going to fill up fast. So just so you know. And then group coaching, I will be launching that in September. And so there will be more details to come. And I will put that out in the April webinar. All webinars are always free. So invite people, just ask them to register, so that way we can reach out to them. So you notice how follow us on LinkedIn, the YouTube. I will not put this one up on YouTube just because of everything. But no, I'm going to put something up there. We'll figure it out. Just look at this, the self-sabotage. It says mission initiated. You have started on taking back and breaking up with self-sabotage. So based on this particular webinar, put in the chat one thing that you are going to do differently. And Shahara, come off of mute and start reading them off to all of us. And thank you all for joining me today. So what are we seeing, Shahara?
All right, those awesome answers are still coming in, but we do see a lot of support in the chat. I see Wanda mentioned turning negatives into positives.
Yes.
Yes. Do less better. Definitely one of my personal favorites that I'll be committing to.
Yes.
And expand my circle of positive people. I see.
Speak OPP.
Positively. Yes.
Yes. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for fighting through the links and the information to get into the website. I appreciate you so much for being here. And please go on with your day. And I hope to see you back here August 24th, where we're going to be looking at the imposter syndrome. Please give a good shout out to Shahara, who's been hanging here with me. She was troubleshooting with me all the way through. And Shahara, thank you so much for a job well done. I appreciate you being in the co-host seat with me. Take care, everybody.